Welcome to Electronic Specifier Insights, the podcast for electronics engineers. I'm your host, Paige West. In today's episode, I speak with Steve Shih, Automotive and Embedded Product Manager at Silicon Motion. We talk about memory being at the core of innovation, and in particular, how it's transforming the industrial and automotive sectors. I hope you enjoy this episode. Let's get started. Today, I'm pleased to be joined by Steve Shih, who is the Automotive and Embedded Product Manager at Silicon Motion. So thanks very much for joining us, Steve. How are you today?
Yeah, good. Hello, everyone. I'm Steve.
Fantastic. It's great to have you here. Steve, why don't you give us a little bit of an introduction to yourself and your background?
Yeah, sure, of course. I'm Steve Shih. I'm a product manager for the Automotive and Embedded Solution team. And I lead a team for the automotive solution, and also not just for the marketing, and also all these certifications in our companies. And really looking forward to talk with you and also with the audience. Thank you.
Excellent. And for those of our listeners who perhaps aren't familiar with Silicon Motion, can you tell us a bit about the company as well?
Sure. Silicon Motion is a global leading company for the storage controller, and also for all the controller, including the SSD and also another solid-state storage. And we are basically the leading company for storage, and not for the memory, but for the NAND flash. And also we have using our controller to have a really good BGA product for the industrial and also automotive as well. Yeah.
Excellent. So to start us off then, Steve, how would you define the role of memory as a core enabler in industrial and automotive innovation today?
Sure. For the memory, what I'm thinking about is more like the brain for especially for the for example for the human, because you have to use your brain to storage all the memories, and then sometimes you have to put out for that. So NAND flash and also the DRAM is very important for the in the system, not just for the industrial and also automotive and also for the client. Especially right now we have AI, we have a central brain to deal with a lot of things. So the storage is one of the key role right now, because we have to store a lot of like large language model like LLM. And also we have vertical language model right now for each vertical and also which marketing. And also we don't want to be the bottleneck for the CPU or the SoC. So I would say memory is also the key role right now for the auto systems.
And how are advances in NAND flash and DRAM technology influencing innovation in things like autonomous driving, factory automation, or robotics?
Oh, that is a good question, because I think all of these three things is basically looks like the same. For example, for the robotic and autonomous driving, basically I think the autonomous car is just four wheels of the robotic. So basically it's the same. You have to moving by yourself, you have to go around, and you have to react to your every action. And also there's obstacle. You have to go around and moving around. You have to do a lot of judgment. So I think for the NAND or even for the memory, we have to do it very fast. So as I mentioned, that we don't want to be the bottleneck. So you have to make sure that you have enough bandwidth and also enough performance to deal with all the reactions. And also you have to have a new technology to fulfill with the AI and also other features or other applications. Yeah.
And you mentioned AI. So what impact is AI at the edge having on memory controllers, particularly in real-time industrial or safety critical automotive use cases?
I think this is very important, because AI, you have a lot of models right now. I think everyone is using AI, ChatGPT, Gemini, a lot of things. And then not just because right now it's most likely for the public users. But right now, because we are talking about industrial and automotive, it's more like for the users or like your personal. And it's more critical for the safety and also the security that is very important. And we also can talk about that later. And I think for the storage controller or even memory, You have to make sure that your technology is advanced and you can react to the AI and with a very short response time and also low latency. And you have enough bandwidth for all the models that you are using in your car or industrial. Because you don't want, for example, if you are driving a car and you don't want your car just thinking and very slow and you want to judge and they just want to turn right or turn left and they don't know. So it will have a catastrophe consequence. So storage is also one of the very important key role inside. So I would say storage needs to be low power and high performance, and also we have to have a new technology for all the applications. Yeah.
And industrial and automotive environments are notoriously harsh. So how does this influence memory design in terms of things like endurance and thermal tolerance or power stability, for example?
Okay. Because in your storage you have the NAND. NAND is one of the key for the memory. But also because we are making a controller. Controller is just like the brain, as I mentioned. So you have to use your brain to make it optimize the not just the performance and also endurance. Because for example, in automotive, you may be driving a desert or you may be driving Iceland. It's very cold or very hot. And a very in this kind of a condition, it's not just like your cell phone. You can just say, "Oh, I just turn off my phone, and I can just wait for them to turn on again." But in your car, you don't want your automobile or anything to be stopped because you will be trapped anywhere. So in this kind of environment or situation, we have to use our firmware inside. We use the newest technology to make the memories, to make all the thing to move smoothly. And also in the meantime, the performance can be also be done for all the applications like AIs to use. And you can, for example, your car, you will sustain for even more than 20 years. This is one of the key in the memory. So because we are the leading company for the controller maker, we make our own IPs, we make our own firmwares. So we can use our technologies to overcome this kind of harsh environment and all the things. Yeah.
And following on from that, what specific industry certifications or standards must an automotive grade memory controller comply with?
Oh, talking about the certification, because my team also owns all the certification in our company, and including the SSD and all the storage like eMMC, UFS, a lot of storage. So all of them will be in your car or in your EV car right now, or even autonomous driving car. So there's a three very important certification right now. One is A-SPICE, we call it the Automotive SPICE. Another is functional safety, we call it the ISO 26262. And the last is the cybersecurity for 21434. And each of them is very important. So for the A-SPICE, it's most likely for a process. For example, if you want to make something in your firmware or hardware, so in the normal situation for the client product, maybe you just think about one of the feature and you just implement it, and also your engineer just do the coding and do everything, then you just make it done. But for the automotive, because it's related to the human life, so you have to make sure all the design is very not just perfect. You have to make it there's no risk. So every time when you want to design a new feature or a new things, you have to do the documentation. You have to make sure the flow is okay, and also make sure all the features or application in your controller is also validated by anything like white box, black box, and also gray box text. So it can make sure all the process flow in your development is perfect, and also there's no risk on that. So this is one of the for the SPICE. And also in our company, we have already reached the highest is the level 3 in this year. Yeah, which means our quality is pretty good. And also for the functional safety, because the autonomous driving, because in the car, the safety is the most important thing because it's related to your life. So we need to make sure we have all we call it the safety mechanism. We have all the mechanism to make sure the storage is very safe and it can recover by itself. And even there's some error, it can recover. And there's a standard, we call it 26262, ISO 26262. And we are reaching the SEAL B right now. There's a A, B, C, D right now. For the storage, they require the D. And also the last is the cybersecurity, because right now, for example, your car, your autonomous driving, it can do the connecting to the everything like cloud and also even your cell phone. So you don't want your autonomous driving or your car to be hacked or be attacked by anyone else, because it's very dangerous. If they can control your car and they can make your car to go anywhere, it's really dangerous, and it will maybe causing some catastrophe consequence for that. So right now, this is one of the most important, and also I think it's just released on 2022. It's pretty new. So we are also having this certification and for all our products, which means our product, we are not just care about the certification, we also care about our quality for all the products that we are selling out to the each vehicle or each industrial applications.
That was a good breakdown. Thank you. And
Thank you.
how does Silicon Motion ensure the long-term reliability and compliance over the lifespan of a vehicle, which really can span from anywhere between 10 and 15 years?
Yeah. For this, I think there's not just Silicon Motion's effort. Of course, that we have to make our controller, for example, our hardware, our firmware to be optimized for all the application, also optimized for the critical environments, like in the desert or like in the Iceland. And also because we are the fabulous IC design company, so we also work with TSMC. They are also helping us to have very good automotive process control. And also in our in-house controller that we have screening Titan process. So all of our products 100% screening by our team. And also we have a dedicated test engineer to make sure all the improvement and all the lesson learned is already implemented in our testing and before ship out. And also for our firmware and also hardware is also dedicated design for the high endurance and also for the long time lifespan. So we will have mission profile for customer and also for the critical environment. And we will make sure our technology can offer with all of these, and not just with the paperwork, and also proof with the design also, and also the simulation. So make sure it can be sustained in this high endurance or even more than 20 years. Yeah.
So how do certification requirements differ between industrial and automotive sectors when it comes to memory controllers?
Sure. For both of these industrial is also very in a very critical environment, but it's a little bit different because one of them for the automotive is about the safety and about human life, but for industrial is about several environments like in the vibration or shock and also high temperature, low temperature. This will be more like the automotive, but automotive is more strict for that because automotive it will be going to be higher temperature and also even lower temperature. But for the IPCs, I mean for the industrial, they have the IPC standard, which is an industrial PC standard for their own standard. But I would say the automotive standard and also IPC standard is both very important. And even for the industrial, they have the military standard as well. So all of them is very important, but it just depends on what kind of application they are using, because you have the different environment and you also have the different application in the field. So it really depends on what you need. But I would say it's both very important, but it's just a different requirement.
Mm-hmm. I'm interested to hear your opinion. So with increasing data demands, from EV telemetry to predictive maintenance, how do you see the role of memory evolving in next generations of systems?
For right now, because I think also the car evolution is very fast. So also the technology is going very fast in the automotive right now. So in before, because your car, there's just not too much screen and then not too much fancy application inside. But right now in your car, it's more like just like in your home. You can control a lot of things. You can watch video on that. So which means in the automotive CPU or even memory, they have more application in it. And for our storage, that we have implemented some of the new technology, because right now you have several application in your infotainment system or in for your cluster in your systems. So you have a lot of virtual machine inside. So we also implement the new technology called the SRLV, single root IRV, which is one of the virtualized mechanical for the storage. It can make you to very easier to connect with your virtual machine in your system. And because in before, if you want to have a lot of virtual machines, you have to use your CPU, you will have a higher power, and also you have the higher latency for your data transmission, because you need a CPU to help you to arrange all the data comes to the SSD or your storage. But right now, if you have this virtualization technology called SRLV, you can just directly connect to the all of your storage, and you don't need a CPU to help them to manage, which means you don't need a hypervisor in between. And it can be lower your CPU power, because right now, CPU is very high power. So it's very powerful. So the power is also going very high. But for example, if your EV car, the electricity is very important. So if your power consumes more, you cannot drive more. You can have the less miles. So this is very important. And also for your data transmission, if the latency is very low, it can also be one of the response time to be very fast. And sometimes it can also save your life or even save your time for everything. Yeah.
So finally then, Steve, if you were advising design engineers today who are working on, next gen automotive or industrial platforms, what should they be prioritizing when it comes to embedded memory?
Basically, when you're going to design of your new next generation new automotive or industrial platform, for especially considering about the memories, that because right now the AI is very important, and also you wanna because AI, the data transmission is also different than before. So right now you have tokens, you have different ways to go to storage. So if you want to go to the new technology and going to the new storage, maybe you also need to considering about data transmission and to make it more sufficient, and also less power consumption and better performance and all the thing. And also all the certification that I mentioned, because there's several certification for especially for the automotive. And it can be also related to the human life. So you have to be thinking about very deeply for all of the safety related and also security related things. This is very important for the future. Yeah.
Fantastic. Is there anything else that you'd like to add, Steve, before we finish?
I think no, but I would say right now, because the AI is very important, and also the automotive and industrial for the AI is still quite new. So right now, everyone knows the LLM, large language model. So, but I think more important for this marketing is more like the vertical language model. Yeah, so everyone maybe can research on these and make our industrial and also environment to be better, to have better AIs, and to make all the things that the efficiency to be better, and have a better world. Yeah, that's all.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for your time today, Steve. It's been a real pleasure having you as a guest. And take care. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Paige. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this latest episode of Electronic Specifier Insights. Don't forget to subscribe to the series to keep up to date with our newest guests, and do share with fellow colleagues, friends and family who may be interested in the latest news from the electronics industry.